98,000 people converge on the Melbourne cricket ground, and all of them are ready to barrack as keenly as the tradition of the game demands. They come from far and wide and by all modes of transport, and the bad weather makes little difference to their enthusiasm. Per head of population, the Australian rules game in Melbourne draws greater crowds than any other game in the world. A stir was created before the big game started when the league announced the changing of all players' numbers to preserve their right to this control, and I think to confuse commentators. The umpires, it seems, are ready, and so is the crowd for action. Despite the rain, the atmosphere at this stage is absolutely electric. Melbourne, the Demons, are first out, led by John Beckwith and Ron Barassi. They are an all-conquering side, and their record over the past few seasons has been phenomenal. Rank outsiders and beaten by Melbourne only 2 weeks ago, here is the Collingwood side. Collingwood, however, are renowned for their fighting spirit, and that's one reason why they are called the Magpies. And the Magpies will be flying high today. And the 1958 Grand Final is underway. It was very, very wet, and the ground was very, very treacherous. These factors, plus Grand Final nerves, cause players to fumble. Play becomes a little congested, but Melbourne are confident, and here they come again with pacey football. Despite the wet, watch this beautiful pass by Big Bob Johnson. Tense supporters wait now in silence as he lines up the goal. But instead of kicking for goal, he tries to short pass to full forward Ethel Webb, and it's over the line. Throw in. Fellows for Collingwood palms it across to Gabelich of Collingwood, and the kick is over towards Melbourne's Dixon. And this mark is taken by Thorold Merritt, one of the finest players in the game, and in top form for Collingwood today. It's best man standing, and both sides are going in harder. Johnson again for the Demons. And Ridley marks his kick right in front. Melbourne's great coach Norm Smith is anxious, not happy. Time now for the second quarter. At this stage, it looked like the same old story. Melbourne too good. In their last 10 meetings, Collingwood's best effort has been a draw. However, there is a long time to go. After the change, there came a change. And now you can watch closely as Melbourne's diminutive rover, Ian Ridley, is floored by Collingwood's Bill Sarong. Umpire Nash did an excellent job in handling fiery incidents like that and like this. Collingwood's coach Hans Kine shows concern as Melbourne are awarded a free kick on the forward line. Collingwood's 16-stoner Ray Gabelich has paid the mark. His shocking kick is whipped up by the dashing Merritt, whom Melbourne are finding as greasy as the ball. Merritt towards the big sticks. And here's his ruckman, Fellows, missing the mark. And watch Melbourne's great defender, Don Williams, scout around the packs and clear to Dixon on the wing. Here now is a passage of play which inspired Collingwood at a very crucial stage. Youngest player afield and only 5'5" in height, Ken Bennett survives a bump and kicks a goal. Melbourne's overworked fullback Peter Marquis kicks off. Like other lines, Melbourne's usually superb defence is below par too. From that scrimmage, Mick Toomey, one member of a famous football family, receives a free. Here it comes, and it's sailing through. There's very little difference in the scores, and Collingwood now have bridged the gap. Best man afield, Collingwood's winger Ken Turner, is again under notice. Looks like a poor tee for Dad tonight. What an outrage. Half-time is taken with only 2 points separating them, and Collingwood, with acting skipper Murray Wiedemann, are anxious to get on with the job. The third quarter, and it proved to be Collingwood's finest. Melbourne's dynamo Ron Barassi, in the thick of all the heavy going, is freed by Graham Fellows. Gabelich, Merritt and Harrison look on. It was apparent that Collingwood were gaining the upper hand. They were faster and playing in front of their men. Melbourne forgot the ball in an endeavour to match the Magpies' vigour. This was a magnificent quarter by the Magpies, and scores at three-quarter time are Collingwood 12 goals 9, 81 points, to Melbourne 7 goals 6, 48 points. Back to the ground and with 98,000 others. Smith shows concern as he moves amongst the Melbourne players in the last endeavour to win the premiership. His side, in the frying pan, is nearly in the fire. In the Magpie camp, Ponce Kine emphatically impresses the Collingwood players to hold Melbourne in this vital last quarter. Murray Wiedemann has his say too. Hold on, says Ponce Kine. Well, the Magpies are confident. Their advantage has been well won. The strain of a bad day and the attempt to win their fourth successive flag is showing on Melbourne. The fans find it hard to believe that the favourites are going down. Well, we picked them up in the final quarter. Melbourne attacked repeatedly, but the sturdy Collingwood defence is too good. And the picture tells its own story. Melbourne messenger on the ground again. Bob Johnson's kick over centre half forward, but it's going to Collingwood's Fellows. Fellows has been one of Collingwood's best, along with Merritt, Wiedemann, Turner and Reeves. Best for Melbourne, Thorogood, Williams, although outmatched in the last quarter by Wiedemann, Laurie, Mithun and Ridley. This is Cyril Merritt leading them all a merry dance. He hasn't run out of steam so far today. Henderson at centre half forward. Torpedo punt going down there, 50 yards from goal. Cleared by Don Williams for Melbourne across the half-back line, falling short of Ian McLean, but he scoops it up and handballs it to his teammate who comes through and clears. That's Keith Carroll clearing to the centre of the ground. Dick Fenton-Smith. Delante is number 24 trying to pick it up. Fenton-Smith on his right, and joining them in the chase is McLean. Spirited piece of defence by Delante, and Collingwood's defence has been great. Their forwards have been right up to the mark too. Thorogood holds up that advance, and his long kick is over the half-forward line. Sullivan misses the mark.
Webb is scouting the pack, but Reeves scoops it up and kicks to the half-forward line for the Magpies. Don Williams gets into the arms of Sullivan. Sullivan 50 yards out from goal. He's on the half-back line. Barassi number 2, and number 3 for Collingwood is Harrison. Sullivan, the Carnival fullback, clears the ball from the half-back line towards the half-forward line and along the outer flank. Thorogood for Melbourne. And it's towards Adams, the rover. He keeps it just inside the line. Athel Webb. And it's a battle between Reeves and Ridley. Ridley took a shocking knock earlier from Sarong and hasn't been much in the game since. Webb again gets through the pack somehow and he shoots for goal. Again, Thorold Merritt clears for Collingwood. He's playing magnificently in defence as well as in attack. Number 14 for Collingwood, just turning back in towards the camera, is Bill Sarong. Norm Smith, Melbourne's coach. Collingwood leading 81-54, and Melbourne, after a goal early, have not been able to get the ball home. Laurie Mitten for Melbourne. From the centre wing, it's over centre half forward, but gets the bad bounce. Big Fellows up. Such an awkward player, I wouldn't think he'd be able to mark the ball in any way, shape or form in these conditions, but he's marked well all day. No reserves on the field as yet. I'm surprised Melbourne haven't whipped a couple in. This is John Beckwith, their captain, who hasn't been right at home today with his game. He's let his resting Rovers in for a few goals. Brenchley for Melbourne to centre half forward. Ball is cleared by Rose, Bobby Rose's brother, Kevin Rose. Now here's a break for Collingwood. It's Merritt. Gets onto his left foot. He's tackled by Beckwith and gets through. Great mark by Marquis. Wiedemann on his mark. Again, I repeat, in case you're trying to follow the players by numbers, which may be familiar to you, all numbers have been changed. Mark is taken by Fellows of Collingwood. 12-9 to 8-6, 81-54, and the Magpies are travelling like real winners of the 58 flag. Barassi on the ball now and resting in the back pocket. Momentarily takes the mark. That's McLean. He's found in the centre. Oh, bad play by Melbourne on the back line, but they'll get away with it. McLean, after handballing it to Thorogood, got it back again and kicks to the half-forward line. This is Crompton. They brought a reserve on. Crompton's just come onto the ground. I think they've taken Ridley off. We'll check on the time for you. This telecast through Channel 7 is the grand final. Fons Kine in the felt hat. We've had 10 minutes of play in the final quarter. 17 for Melbourne. Adams tackled from behind and knocked down too. Free kick should be Melbourne's way, I would think, to Adams. Definitely struck. Adams is 50 yards out from goal on an angle of about 25 degrees. His kick will fall short. It's touched going through. It's through the behind post anyhow. That's the score at the moment, and studio, this is your cue. High marking is a feature of our game, as Ampol Enterprise is a feature in Australian industry. High marks to Ampol, the motoring spirit of all proud Australians. The The grand final's a rip snorter for sheer determination and strength in the packs. Ball is out of bounds on the Melbourne half-forward line on the members' side. It's in front of the players' race. Fenton Smith knocking away, but knocking it right down one of the Collingwood players' throats. This is young Bennett with the ball. Played very well when resting off the ball in the forward pocket for Collingwood. This is Laurie Mithun, turning into trouble everywhere, but he's clever and he gets out of it. He's put down there, and heavily too, and the kick will go downfield. Now it's starting to rain, just to add to the misery of today's conditions. Ethel Webb falling short. Collingwood 12 goals 9, Melbourne 8 goals 7. And how jealously are Collingwood hanging on to that proud record of theirs, 4 premierships in a row. It was Melbourne's chance to equal that today. The chance is still there, but it's getting slimmer every moment. Melbourne's rucks are being totally outclassed here. When they are getting the knock away, it seems that Collingwood men are sharking the hit-outs. Fenton Smith against McToomey. McToomey got it over his head there towards Harrison. Rose to Bennett, and Bennett from the half-back line for Collingwood along the members' wing to the centre wing where it's out of bounds again. 12-9 to 8 goals 7. And Collingwood looked like breaking the Melbourne hoodoo. In the last 10 times they've met, the best Collingwood have been able to do is a draw. And it's a long, long time since they've beaten Melbourne on the Melbourne cricket ground. And here's another tussle between Barassi and Delante this time. The free kick is to Melbourne's Dynamo, who has not had a good season in comparison with other seasons of his, but is worth watching at any time. Barassi's kick finds somebody in the forward pocket. Bob Johnson. He was trying to crib a few yards to improve the angle, but umpire Nash wheels him around, and he's only about 6 or 7 yards inside the boundary line, so you can appreciate the angle. The distance is nothing, it's the angle. Oh, he's off the target. Number 12 for Collingwood there was Grieve, who is now on the field. Point forced. 8 goals 8 to 12 goals 9. Harry Sullivan to the outer wing. Adams for Melbourne. No score. Johnson got the knock away, but right into a Collingwood player's arms. It was Harrison, and he clears to the half-back line, and there it's out of bounds again. The change in the game was amazing because Melbourne got the start, and it was thought that whichever team really got the start would be right in the box seat. 9 times out of 10, that is true. Melbourne got a wonderful start. They had a couple of goals, 3 goals up before Collingwood looked like getting into any kind of form. But since that first quarter, it's been all Collingwood. Trevor Johnson for Melbourne to the half-forward line. The ball is on the wing. Mithun caught in possession. And now it's out between the half and full forward lines in that pocket on the outer wing. Fenton Smith. Again, the hit out is taken by a Collingwood player. Delanty's left foot kick is to the far wing. And around the neck paid to Bill Sarong. Sarong to the half-forward line. Williams sees it go out. Free kick to Thorold Merritt. 16 minutes of play already gone in the grand final. Thorold Merritt on the half-forward line. Melbourne still 4 goals, 1 behind. Don Williams clearing to the centre of the ground. Rose takes the mark. Towards Wiedemann. The knock away goes to Merritt. Merritt's kick is into the goal square. And it's through. 1 point to Collingwood. They are now 4 goals, 2 in front of Melbourne with 17 minutes of play in the final quarter already gone. Stacks on the mill, right in front of the members' stand. Brian Dixon is there with Keith Carroll for Melbourne and Ken Turner for Collingwood. Alan Nash about to bounce it up 10 yards inside the boundary line on Collingwood's half-forward line on the members' side. Dixon, kick off the ground by Mick Toomey towards young Bennett. Bennett tackled by John Beckwith, and Beckwith gets the kick. Beckwith to the half-forward line. It's a long, raking punt kick. Goes further with the bounce, and Harry Sullivan turns the attack towards Delanty. Delanty and Bob Johnson in the picture now. The ball is on Melbourne's half-forward line on the members' wing in front of the Olympic stand. Mick Toomey over the head towards Rose. Rose gives it to Gabelich. Gabelich kicks to the wing, but there's nobody at home for Collingwood, and Mithen marks and quickly gets on with the job for Melbourne. It's down there to the forward line, where a lovely mark is taken by Sullivan again. He was the last line of defence at that moment. Had the ball gone through, it would more than likely have been a goal for Melbourne. Bob Johnson being whistled back off the mark, as Sullivan is content to take his time. Time's all in Collingwood's favour. Sullivan kicks it wide, the sensible thing to do. Barassi kicking. Number 15 for Collingwood there is Rose. Gabelich on the left, Barassi number 2, Bob Johnson at the top of the picture on the right. And this is right where the number 1 fiery incident in the match took place. Gabelich going through the pack and kicking to the half-back line. Don Williams, a nice balk, and gets his kick in too. It's going down into the forward pocket. Crumpton on his 19th for Melbourne gets his first kick. It's high and it's towards the square. And Louis Adams tried to kick it off the ground, and it's forced through for 1 point. That's the score at the moment in the grand final, being telecast through Channel 7, and studio will ask you to take it again. Team, certainly the boil-over of the year. This is young Bennett. Collingwood, and Tunbridge is getting a free kick from right on the boundary line. Distance is nothing. Again, it's a matter of accuracy. Right across the goal front. Melbourne can't do a thing right. And Collingwood reaping the benefits of their most determined play. Dixon, usually number 9, tries a drop kick, one of the few we've seen today, and that's Barassi chipping right in front of Rose. Had they collided, they both would have been out for 6 months. Barassi between the half and full forward lines. He's 50 yards out from goal. His kick is going into the goal square. And a kick through. That's a goal. Been allowed to Crompton. We'll check the time. Melbourne 3 goals, 1 behind. 3 goals, 1 in arrears. 22 minutes gone. And Fenton Smith's left foot kick finds Athelwebb. Athelwebb on the half-forward line, up on his feet. Handballs to Crompton, who stupidly called for it right in the middle of 2 Collingwood players. And Norm Smith just about tears all his hair out. Norm Smith in the centre. Players are tired. It's been a hard slugging match. The vigour has been enough to satisfy the thirst of those who would expect a lot in 5 games. Reeves, young Reeves, marking at the back of the pack. No team has been able to beat another team 3 times in the one season this year. And it seems that that record is being kept alive by Collingwood turning the tables on Melbourne today. The game's not over, but it's very close to being over for the Demons, who, after being the favourites right throughout the season, are in dire danger of being well and truly toppled by Collingwood. 12-10 to 9-9 in the grand final. We've had 23 minutes of play now, 23 minutes of play, and it's a matter of time, it seems. Reeves clears towards Sullivan. Sullivan gets the mark just inside the boundary. Another good player for Collingwood today. When a side wins a premiership, all its stars play well. You don't win them unless you do play well. Now watch the ruck duels closely again. It's Fellows against Bob Johnson. Fellows again gets the knock, playing in front all the time. Rose with the ball. Kick off the ground by Henderson towards Carroll for Melbourne and his immediate opponent in Beers, but it's out of bounds right in front of our number 1 camera position, which is right in front of the Melbourne coach's bench. This is Henderson with the ball. Still got it. Good play. And he finds, or he nearly found Merritt. And Carroll and Beers are in the picture too. Dixon for Melbourne. Tackled by Turner with the ball out of bounds. 12-10 to 9-9. And the crowds are starting to make their way out of the stadium. Trevor Johnson for Melbourne. Collingwood have closed this game up most successfully on the back lines. This is the Collingwood camp. Trevor Johnson on the half-forward line for Melbourne. Good kick too, right down into the goal square. Nobody at home to mark it. Melbourne have been completely outmatched in the air. Outmatched in the air, in the ruck, and around the packs. Beers, tackled by Carroll, who's brought back 15 yards. There's a penalty for making an infringement of the rules after the mark had been taken. To the half-forward flank on the members' wing. Collingwood again in the air. Wiedemann takes the mark, but he has it taken from him. It's going Melbourne's way. Something must have gone on behind the play, and it's Peter Marquis getting the kick. Marquis to the centre wing. Thorold Merritt gets his kick to half forward. Don Williams. That was Brenchley putting it over the line. Out of bounds. Mike Delante didn't think so. He was the one who scooped it up and kicked it for Collingwood. But the ball comes back. After 27.5 minutes of play, it's still Collingwood 3 goals in front. Brenchley sandwiched. Players are very tired. McLean kicks to the half-forward line. Rose's kick. Well, you've got to take your hat off to these Magpies. Fantastic. They lost 3 of their last 4, if you don't count last week's game. Still held on to second place, more by a miracle than anything else, as their own supporters will agree. And now, after being down throughout the finals and having to come out for 3 hard games in a row, they've bobbed up to win the grand final. Fenton Smith. Turner, been one of Collingwood's good players again today. He's had a great season. Again, a free kick in the pack to Peter Marquis. "29 minutes gone. There's the siren. The Magpies have done it. The last time was 1953. They've saved their proud record of 4 straight wins. Thorold Merritt and Bennett, the 2 Rovers, who played such a great part in the win too. Sign of delirious excitement.
Jubilation in the Collingwood camp. Final scores: Collingwood 12 goals 10, 82 points. Melbourne 9 goals 10, 64 points. The 2 coaches meet. Norm Smith disappointed, but a good loser.
Well, 1958 was so crucial to Collingwood because Melbourne had won 3 premierships in a row. They'd won 55, 56, they'd beaten us. They'd beaten Hawthorn in 57, and they were coming up to beat us for the 4th time, to win their 4th grand final in a row, and that really would have stolen one of Collingwood's prize records, the fact that they are the only club in VFL history that have won 4 premierships in a row. And, of course, the whole build-up of that particular week from the supporters was one of, you can't let those toffs beat we Collingwood boys, the industrial boys, and that was a real feeling that came from the supporters. It never once was uttered by the committee, who were men of great integrity. Sid Coventry was our president in those periods, and Fonskine, of course, our coach. They would have never tolerated that sort of talk, but from the players' point of view, we went out full of pride and full of encouragement from all our supporters to knock off the toffs down at Melbourne.
Deep down in my own heart, I knew we couldn't beat them. There was no hope in the world of beating them, and so you went out there. And I always had I used to sit in the back row when Fonskine got up and gave the talk about tradition of Collingwood, and they would achieve our 4 premierships in a row. But I knew what I had to do in sitting on the back row in the dressing room there, that you knew the danger players, the Mithens, Brassey, Skilton, Big Bob Johnson, those sort of players that they were match winners, and they had plenty of them. They could win a game in one quarter, and you know, when we came in at half time, we were 5 points in front at half time. Well, I was coming up the race, and Fonskine was standing at the top of the race there, and he said, "Murray, whatever you do, and just keep doing it." You know, it was unbelievable to be in front, and then of course we went on and won by 3 goals in the finish.
I've never gone into a game believing that we would lose. Never ever in my life that I would go to any game. And in 58, didn't make any bloody difference to me. I thought while we're out there, we've got a chance. They were a good side in Melbourne, but when you're out there, anything can happen, and it's the luck of the draw. You know, we've got up and won the flag.